If you are a child or below the age of 18, you need your parents' permission to play this game.
Oh no.
Brando, have you ever played a Resident Evil game?
So I I played Resident Evil 4 back in the day. That was one of those.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, that was whenever they changed the perspective and everything, and that was a classic to a lot of people. I did not play any of them after that. I know that 5 and 6 were kind of. But 7, I watched a lot of Let's Plays online because
it's more fun to play a horror game when you're just watching someone.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was just curious on how scary it really was. So I've seen some Let's Plays of 7, and
of 7
of Resident Evil 7.
Did you? Oh my gosh, the 7 is one of the worst.
Yeah, I was kind of
scary.
glad that I didn't play. I'm not. It's weird. I'm not really like a horror game fan. However, I like watching Let's Plays of people playing horror games because I like to see their reactions. So that to me is more enjoyable than sitting there torturing myself in what's around this corner. So I am much more of an observer in those games.
Yeah,
so
I would not play Resident Evil 7 alone. Well, I've been playing Resident Evil 7.
Oh, you're actually playing that? I didn't know that.
I'm actually playing it.
Oh my goodness.
So if you guys didn't know, the Resident Evil franchise is having a huge sale. And so I picked up the base version of Resident Evil 7 for $10 on the Xbox Game Store. And I'll just say, I'm a fan of like horror. Like I've always been a fan of it. I have some lines that I've drawn on certain amounts of horror, and Resident Evil is it's so scary. It is so scary and so just gross, and it's evil, really. It's evil. And my wife personally hates the game so much that I promised her that I'd never play it while she was in the house because we have a giant TV in our small apartment, and you can see it wherever you go. But essentially, Resident Evil has all kinds of games in the franchise and spinoffs and all that jazz. But it was always been very much a anime, paranormal, scientific kind of like horror game. And you have to explain the game within its own universe. And so it's not a whole lot of like dark magic and stuff like that, but it is a whole lot of, can you explain it with science and all that stuff? But Resident Evil 7 is a different take on that, because in Resident Evil 7, you're tasked with finding your wife who has been missing for some time, and you think she's dead, and for 3 years you think she's dead, and all of a sudden you get an email from her saying this address in Louisiana, in the bayou. And whenever anything starts off in the bayou, it's going to be really, really freaky and scary. But you find out very quickly that things turn sour. You meet a cannibal family. It gets pretty bad. It gets pretty scary.
And mature audiences only.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of hope in it. But the game does keep you playing, albeit the scariness. And I think what Resident Evil does really well is that some horror games have the idea of like you have to figure out how to get to your next spot while you're being chased around by an enemy. And that is the scariest feeling ever, because the way these characters move around, your game map, you never know where they are. You move very slow. And if you backpedal and try to cover your ground, you go extremely slow. They can easily catch you and like just impale you on a shovel, kind of a thing.
And this is, and I talked about it earlier, but this is all first person,
right,
which is a first for this series.
And that's really important because this is the first Resident Evil game to ever feature a first person view in the game. And so it adds an extra element of real fright and like...
Well, that's a big deal because, like, third person, you can see around your character.
Yeah, you can see your camera.
So if someone's going to sneak up behind you, it still could be scary, but you're going to see a little bit more than if you're in just a first person and this is your only field of view going around. I know that one of the biggest titles that never was fully released or actually made, PT, the legendary playable teaser, the Silent Hills game that never came out, but that was all first person. And you're in this one hallway, and that's it. That was terrifying. It was just knowing that something weird is going on, and you can only see what's in front of you. That, I think, Resident Evil 7 kind of was around the same time that first was announced, and it was doing that same kind of first-person view. That, I think, again, I've never played the game. I have only seen
Probably for your benefit, honestly.
I've only seen Let's Plays of people playing just because I enjoy the reactions of people getting scared. It's quite funny out there. I'd love to see your reactions too, because I'm sure it's terrifying. But
it is extremely terrifying, and I will say I only got the game because it got a 9.1 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah.
And it was $10, so why not? Guys, thanks so much for watching and listening to today's podcast. If you liked it, please consider subscribing. Also, hit the notification bell to be notified when all of our videos come out into your mailbox directly. And if you guys are playing some really awesome games right now, we'd like to know. Let us know in the comments below what kind of games you guys are playing. And of course, guys, have a great day. We'll see you next time for our next episode.
See ya.